Boom shakalaka, what's up? We're doing a rapid fire episode today. I'm Jack from SalesBread.
And I'm Jeremy from quickmail.io.
All right, Jeremy, bear with me. I am sleep deprived coming after a red eye. First flight since COVID. So that was kind of, I don't know, nice to be back, but
It's a
bear with
rapid
me.
fire, Jack. Bring the
I've been drinking
thunder.
coffee. That's right. Okay, so just before we get in, where would I be without my little elevator pitch thing? So here it goes. Most B2B companies lack the time or expertise to start conversations with the people that you want to do business with. At SalesBread, we help generate at least a lead a day. You tell us who you go after, and we do all the hard sales grunt work type stuff to book you appointments. If you want to find out how we do it or just chat with me about some strategy, go to salesbread.com/contact and I'll see you there. How's
Awesome.
that?
Yeah, that's great. I got the best pragmatic, tech savvy solution for cold outreach. You should check it out at quickmail.io. But without any further ado, let's jump into the fire. You ready, Jack?
Jeremy, number one, what's the best way to ensure my emails are delivered? This is your question here, so hit me.
Yeah, well, I think there are two answers. I'll let you answer the sort of like content email type of things and so on, and I do the technical stuff. So these days, I think you need to ensure you have good engagement. So one of the things that is starting to gain traction is to get an auto warmer. Now, I don't care if you're using the free auto warmer of Quickmail or if you're paying for another solution elsewhere, but you need to have some engagement now on your inbox. So if you want a free solution, you can go to quickmail.io slash just quickmail.io. You'll find it. It's there. And if you want like a paid solution, you got plenty of other outs there.
Okay, cool. So all I have to do is just get engagement and I can be ensured that my emails are delivered. That's basically
Avoid
it.
bounces, make sure you got a custom domain tracking, all the yada that we've been talking about. Actually, you could go to quickmail.io slash checklist. I think it's all one word. And then here you'll find like 18 different things. But the latest at the moment is make sure you keep your inbox warm. And I will add, even if you're doing your cold outreach campaign, because some people think like, oh, I just need to warm up my inbox. And then after that, I can just start my outreach. But, don't stop the warming up
Right.
while you're doing the outreach.
Yeah, you should always have replies coming in, whether that's from like an auto warmer, your actual outbound campaign, or even like a, what do I call it? Like a sneaky campaign where you're just like you're reaching out to
What's your
people.
pricing? do you
Well, not like
discount?
that. That's
Do you do
that's
any
BS,
discount?
right? I mean, that's like complete time wasting. But you may want to try like sending like I don't know, just genuine networking emails with people in your same industry in your same city.
Boom.
If
Do
that's like a
that.
side benefit of connecting with new people, but it's also a nice way to keep that inbox nice and warm. So moving on, rapid fire. Number two, how can I use Google for prospecting? My question, my lead. I love to use Google if I'm building a list of companies that offer a certain service. So lately, if someone gives me a more challenging, off the beaten path kind of segment. So they may say, Jack, show me, or let's build a list of companies that offer cold email services. I'm going to use Google to help me find that. So the way I do it, I go to Google, I type in URL, all one word, colon, services slash. Then I put a space, all caps, and then quote, cold email, end quote. And I'll press search, and that's going to show me all services pages that use the word cold email in it. So there's a real good chance that they've got a cold email service. And you can use that little, I don't know, Google prospecting trick for any time you need to target companies based on a service that they're selling. Or you could even just swap the word service for about us, and you can build a list of companies that have, I don't know, a keyword like
Crypto experts, on the About
There
Us
you go.
page,
There
right?
you go. Crypto
Or
experts. Thanks for saving me.
growth hacker or stuff like that on the About page. I
Yeah,
love the idea.
it's cool. Yeah, thanks. Anything to add here? Should we move on?
Nope, it's all good. Move on.
Trace, how to use Zapier to make outbound easier / better. Jeremy, I'm gonna pick on you here, man. What do you think?
Zapier is just a connector to anything, so you can do tons of things. I think one of the most common popular type of Zap are two things. The first one is act on immediate event that happen in your campaign, like maybe someone opened 3 times and then is doing a click on your service. You want to pick up the phone or like send a Slack into a Slack message or update a lead in your CRM and then pick up. The other one is depends on the integration. Some tools are better than others, but the other one is whenever a prospect is created, then go and reach it automatically using a different tool. So that could be quite cool too.
Yeah, so my favorite way to use Zapier, it's mostly like a time saving little trick here, but I'll create 2 tabs on the same Google Sheet, and once my team is done adding personalization, they'll add the row to the next sheet where it's like, I just call it to upload, and I'll tell Zapier automatically send that to QuickMail, and it'll put it in a bucket and it'll send it on the schedule, and I don't have to go in and upload CSVs. I think it's like a really nice process because my team is always like, oh, we're always in Google Sheets. So anytime we can start and finish a campaign without leaving, I think that's pretty cool. So
Nice.
Good stuff. 4, what do today's best performing outbound campaigns have in common? Now we touched on this a couple episodes back where we kind of did like I think it was a year in review, looking at the top campaigns out there, and maybe we can just summarize a few of these points here. I'll start off. They always have like tons of upfront value.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, is that it? Is that really what we're talking?
Well, it's hard to resist, right? If I give you upfront value straight away, at least I'm gonna get your attention. And but value is very subjective. Yeah. So you have to just be careful as to who you're contacting. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's got to mean something to them. But yeah, what do today's best performing out campaigns have in common? Maybe I'll say 2 things. They've got a lot of upfront value and they make it to the inbox. If you don't make it to the inbox, forget it. You need both of those in order to have one of those top performing campaigns. Would you add one more thing to that? Inbox, add value.
Everything else, I think it's secondary. Even like personalization, which is super hot. I mean, you could kind of get away if you're contacting someone who really needs what you want, what you have, and then you give it for free, or you give that value away straight away. So
and if you're listening, yeah, you're right. Value trumps personalization. It probably even trumps deliverability, because if you have so much value, you're going to not have to worry about engagement. And if you don't have to worry about engagement, you have deliverability. But whatever. Just a concrete example, in case you're wondering what value we're talking about here. I've run a couple campaigns where I'm reaching out on behalf of a client who's buying a business. So think about that. The email's pretty much,
I want to give you 1 million.
I'd like to make an offer on your business. Yeah, are you the right person to talk numbers with? I think that's what we said. And obviously that's got beyond 30% reply rates, because that's like, hey, I'm going to help you retire. Like, let's talk. That's value up front. So that's what we're talking about. It's not necessarily, hey, here's an ebook I made. That's not really the value, right? So what's next? Number 5, what's up with LinkedIn's new invite limits, and should I be worried? So LinkedIn is constantly trying to create a better, stickier user experience. So they have more users on the platform at all times. Fast forward to 2021, and they're finding that lots and lots of people are treating the platform like another way to spam. Yeah, so what's the problem? Here's what the problem. A few users are sending most of the invites, right? So,
and bots.
Jeremy's doing the robot. No, let's not even talk about bots. Let's just talk about sending invites that don't get engagement. It's the same thing with inbox deliverability. Is like LinkedIn says, well, if you send invites that most people ignore, you're probably a spammer and we're going to throttle your account down. So lately, LinkedIn, it's like as of 3 weeks ago, depending when this is published, but we're talking, I don't know, late March, LinkedIn has put a restriction on some accounts where they will limit you to the ability to send 100 invites per
Oh,
week.
I thought it was on all accounts. It's only on certain accounts?
Yeah, if you're, I mean, if you're sending invites that a lot of people are engaging with, or not even, I think the algorithm's still young. It's not a blanket rollout. I think they're isolating and testing a few accounts. But if you are selected as someone who ain't that good at getting invites accepted,
Congratulations,
you're going to
you've
say,
been selected.
hey, yeah, they'll just limit you to 100 invites a week, which brings me to the next part of this question. Should I be worried? My answer is no, you should rejoice. Seriously, you should breathe a sigh of relief, because the people that are clogging up the prospects you want to reach, they're clogging up their, let's say, invite acceptance queue. And I think the idea that, oh, if I get an invite, it's just a bot, or if I get an invite, it's just a salesperson, that's going to slowly deteriorate as LinkedIn cracks down on those spammers. So very soon, even now, we're starting to see better invite acceptance rates just because the platform's cleaning itself up a little bit. So if you're using personalization, you're targeting carefully, you know how to write a message that doesn't sound like the rest of them and people actually accept, you're going to have a far better experience on LinkedIn because of these new invite limits. So we're good as long as you're good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and if you got time at some point, I'll do a LinkedIn killer. It's in my project.
Good luck, dude. Good luck. All right, Sace. Everyone says write short, cold emails, but is there such a thing as too short? So let's get specific. Jeremy, what if I said, hey, I got a 1-sentence cold email? Would you say that's dumb or that could work?
I think that could work. In fact, I know for a fact that it could work.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. Is like if someone super well known is sending you an email and he never contacted you, but you know this person sends you an email because it's a famous person, sends you an email that says, I got a slot on my show. Are you game? ? That's pretty much what I need, right? You're going to answer like, yes, hell yes, or something like that, right? And in fact, it's going to make it easier on me because I'm not going to like start answering with like a massive reply. I'm just going to say, hell yeah, or when, or, you know, those sort of like quick bite.
Yeah.
That works.
So,
but maybe I get away because that's a famous, type of thing.
Yeah, well, I have done one-liner emails, and look, if you're sending a follow-up, it's way easier to write a 1-sentence email. So maybe on a follow-up, definitely worth testing. I agree what you said about this expectation. If it's a long email, you feel like you got to reply with a long response. If it's a one-liner, you can reply back with a single word. I actually don't think there's too short of an email. Just make sure it's a complete thought and you're including a call to action.
What's the minimum number of characters? Sorry, it's a rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Next one. Where's your favorite place to look for personalization nuggets? My favorite place, I Google the person's name and company and cross my fingers hoping that they've been interviewed on a podcast or featured on a magazine or something cool that may not be on their LinkedIn profile or even their about page. I look for some media stuff. Jeremy, you got anything to add, or should we carry on?
I've been actually impressed by some tricks on personalization. When you can't find anything, you just go to your website and say, for what it's worth, impressed with XYZ, because it does mean like, okay, well, that person still, search something, and in fact, it's just like total lack of imagination.
Oh yeah,
but it still kind of works at the moment.
Yeah. There isn't a single person that I wouldn't be able to write personalization for, and so even having like, let's say, Jeremy, you gave me someone with a blank LinkedIn profile, no media exposure, and their website was down. They didn't have anything on their website. Well, that's what I'm going to talk about. Hey, I couldn't find much about you online. It seemed like your website is down. Are you going to refresh it? What's going on? Just curious where I can stay updated. And then you go, I mean, that's personalization. Let's carry on. It's rapid fire. 2 more questions. This episode is brought to you by the Cold Email Outreach Masterclass. About that yet. Course.quickmail.io is where we share our secrets on, well, everything we know about sending great cold emails that make a bunch of money. Course.quickmail.io. Last 2 questions. What's the most underrated skill for outbound lead gen? Most underrated skill. I'm curious, man. What do you think, Jeremy?
I'm probably going to have to think a lot on this one, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it's underrated. I'd say hustling and, never give up, and like a positive spin on everything that happened, in your life. Like, it's the type of people who could lose a limb and still be happy, and their family just died and then still happy. That's the sort of like resilience, for things going wrong, and always a positive outlook. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but that's the idea, I think.
Okay. Cool. So I'm actually going to take a different angle here. I think the most underrated skill for outbound lead gen, where if you mastered this, you got outbound lead gen, is being able to work with systems. So the killer outbound lead generation expert is not doing all the activities. They shouldn't and they couldn't, but they know what works and they know how to bring in people or tools that can help them scale up their efforts. So they will get parts of the puzzle down, working correctly, and then they will be able to essentially write manuals and processes that can help them do like the lower value activities, so they can really like come into the office and think, okay, where's the next campaign? What's the next target we can reach out to? How can I make this CTA more compelling? Spend more time there, and that requires you to think systematically. Okay, we've got one more.
I'll just add one thing is like for long term, this is spot on of an answer.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Okay, Jeremy, last one. What free tool should I use to find leads for my business? Free tool that saves some money. It's a pandemic. Where do we go for some free-ish leads? I got a couple.
Yeah, that's a good point that you're mentioning the pandemic. I think pandemic is often viewed as a good excuse or way to go and learn some new skills. So I'll definitely say, learn scraping, scripting, whether you're using Python, Ruby, whatever. Learn some.
What are the kids using these days? Node.js, right?
Yeah, it could be. Puppeteer is a cool stuff for automating everything that is web related. So I would say,
they have a Python library called Pippeteer.
Pippeteer, so right there. You go.
You can borrow. Okay, that's cool. So essentially, script it costs nothing to create a script. Yeah, time, right? Okay, so if you learn scripting, then you will have a free tool that
otherwise you'll be at the mercy of whatever database or whatever tool is pre-created to do. In fact, we got some, well, no, I shouldn't say it. We got secret projects, so I'll just keep it secret.
Okay, to be released later. Now, Jeremy, that is probably a better answer than mine because it can be applied to my suggestion here. But free tools, I'm thinking your leads are hanging out in a niche directory already. I think the free tools would be, let's say you want to work with marketing agencies. Well, you want to use clutch.co in order to find those marketing agencies that are serving a particular client. We've had a couple campaigns where it's like, okay, cool, hop over to Clutch, apply some search filters, and then Jeremy, your answer here, get to scraping. I've been using import.io for scraping Clutch because I'm lazy to build a script for it. They're a little bit trickier than other websites, but yeah, scripting is like the grandfather skill here to
what about data miner? I think that was 3.
Yeah,
is it going?
Yeah, data-miner.io is still, they have a free plan and they're still cool, but they're not great on JavaScript. I guess they're okay. There's certain things that you wouldn't want to use them for. For example, if you had 200 pages, it would take a very long time for data miner to do it. Import.io uses like nesting, or what is it? They crawl much faster. So anyways, yeah, I would definitely look at free directories that are basically hangouts for your ideal clients. That and that Google hack is definitely where I'd go for finding free leads.
Awesome.
But that concludes the rapid fire over here. Course.quickmail.io is a good place to get some more stuff. How we do, Jeremy?
Booyah.
Booyah, booyah. All right.
All right.
Awesome
Great
cast, man.
Thanks, man.
Cool. See ya.